Hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup where I explain all my controversial views and opinions to open discussion in the comments down below. We've got a couple of topics, let's just get right into it. From a journalist who writes ink for the Telegraph, they've come out and said his name's James, shout out to Hammers. He says, find it staggering that Jurgen Klopp escapes a touchline ban. What sort of message does that send? All the encouragement to the dickheads at the grassroots level need to continue to behave like morons on a weekend. The sooner football adopts rugby's approach to abuse of the officials, the better. I just love how Jurgen Klopp is constantly rattling journalists. I love the way that it's very easy for him to do it as well. It's just like he's a magnet. So you've got the chick magnet and then you've got the journalist rattling magnet that is Jurgen Klopp. I think it's unwarranted for sure, but at the same time, it's just what's going to happen when you're in a position like Jurgen Klopp. Now listen, do I think that the touchline ban is warranted? It might be. It fully might be. He screamed at the referee. Yes, we shouldn't condone it, but I'm not being funny or not. And yeah, how is fining... Bear in mind, Jurgen Klopp's been fined 30 whole grand, which yes, to me and you is a lot of money. To him, it might not be as much. It's still a lot of money. It's like being fined 100 quid. Getting fined 100 quid is not ideal. It might not be the whole portion of your bank account, but still 30 grand to him, that's not ideal to be getting fined for that. He got punished. How is Jurgen Klopp not getting a touchline ban going to be influencing Baldy Tony, who manages the Bootle under-9s, who drinks 3 times a week? How is that going to influence him not to shout at the referee? This has been something that's been going on for years before the internet. It's something that's going to continue. Oh, why? Because of poor officiating. The circumstances in recent times of which we've seen managers absolutely unload on referees like they haven't got families, and I think it can be a little bit far, but that's why they need to be accommodated with more education on how to make better decisions, and VAR need to do a lot better as well. Be more urgent, be quicker, and then you won't get divvies like Hammers. And I'm sure he's a lovely guy, I'm sure he's great at what he does. I don't know the ins and outs of the Telegraph, but if journalists like him are getting rattled because Jurgen Klopp is making a bad influence on the wider perception, and like I said, Baldy Tony is now not, or if he got banned, he would now not be in the position where he'd be shouting at the referee. Apparently, that's the influence that this has. So let me know what you think. Should have Klopp got banned? I don't think it would have been a bad shout, but I think he's been punished more than enough for a decision which he screamed at the referee. And bear in mind, it was a foul. It was ridiculous. It was late in a huge game in a season where there's loads of pressure. And as City fans, we're loving to talk about context and the flow of the game and stuff like that. You know, consistency is the word that they use. Then we've got to use the same energy for Jurgen Klopp. And the longer that he's rattling these journalists, I am all for it, baby, because I love seeing them getting the knickers in a twist. Hey, and Bernardo Silva, if you just wanted Salah's shirt, you could have just asked. I want to touch on Darwin Núñez and how he proved me wrong. However, the first thing I want to do is I want to make this a multitude Redmond Roundup where to talk about other teams. Anthony doing 5-star skill moves, 3 spins for no apparent reason whatsoever. Was it necessary? No, but that's why it's quite cool. It's like having a chippy scran. Having a chippy scran, it's not necessary, but you do it because it's fun, it's nice, it improves your Saturday, it makes the show that you're watching even better. And it's like Anthony, football for him is good, he can make good decisions, but doing shit like that makes it more fun for him. So I don't mind saying that was the wrong thing to do because it didn't pay off, and bear in mind, he did lose possession. But to get on his back to the point where you're making it a whole media outrage, it's like when I see Henderson fail to complete a 5-yard pass, the same energy is not kept. And that's failing to complete a 5-yard pass, whereas Anthony is expressing himself in an alternative way. Ways that's worked for him before, where he can do skill moves and actually create something for the team. He was against the team that was a lot lower in calibre of opposition. The game weren't massive. Shout out to Sharif. They done what we couldn't and beat Real Madrid. However, just to... I don't know. I think it's just been blown out of proportion, just up a keto a little bit. I think Anthony is a really, really good footballer. Whether he can reach the potential of what some people say for him, I don't know. But he's good. He's got a different style to everyone else. And people in this country just need to stop being grumpy bastards. Why is it bad to see skill moves? Because do you know when Luis Diaz does it, it's not a problem as well. Like, well, sometimes it will be a problem. I suppose in circumstantially it will be a problem. But I just think it just needs to be shut down. If it's causing mistakes constantly, but it was one time in a whole 90-minute game where he decided to do a few spins. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below, chat, because I genuinely believe that it needs to be improved in how we react to footballers and the bad decisions that they make. Constructively, it's good to criticise, but when it's something as small as a few spins, I just think it's a little bit nonsensical, but that's just me. And anyway, last but certainly not least, we've got El Darwin Núñez, who's proven the whole hater group wrong, including myself, because apparently I'm a hater to Darwin Núñez. This is a stat that is going to probably blow your mind. Goals in their first 13 appearances for Liverpool. So Mohamed Salah has 8, Torres has 7, Núñez has 6, Mane has 6. The best player in the world had 6. And then you'd have Luis Suarez with 4 and Roberto Firmino with a grand old 0. We do have to remember as well that these players, a lot of them, Luis Suarez, Torres in a little bit of a better position, but they came into teams that were a lot lower calibre, and Núñez is doing the same thing, whereas Mane and Salah, they came into a team that had a lot more energy. We were only improving, we were on the up and up, and they were huge parts to the success that we ended up achieving. Darwin Núñez has done exactly what I've said he can do. He'll be an outlet, he'll get goals, and I never not once said he won't get goals. I've always said on rival shows, he might not be the one who dribbles, he might not be the one who creates the play, he might not be the one who gets past 4 players and scores a banger, but he will get on the end of chances, and that was proven to me as early as the 4 goals that he scored against Leipzig, or the goal that he scored against City when he came off the bench. And I think in a team where you've got cohesion and really good energy, then Darwin Núñez is an absolute beast of a player to have as the outlet, because he thrives on positioning, he thrives on getting on the end of chances, and with our creativity, it makes sense to have an outlet there as well. It's just he's came at a time where we're not cohesive, so he's not going to get as many goals, but yet he's still scoring loads. So I've never not hated Darwin Núñez in that sense, and yes, I still stand by the fact I think we could have got better, for the reason that we don't do heavy investment, so we need players who are going to have that more overall impact. Darwin Núñez, however, in a good team, will get you loads of goals, and that's why I think Darwin Núñez will be a success at Liverpool if we get our shit together and improve the rest of the squad. Because as long as he's the one player doing less work but getting the goals, kind of like Erling Haaland, then there you go, he's doing his job, he's doing more than his job. And that's why we bought him, is to be that outlet, to be that out-and-out number 9. So I don't hate Núñez, I just think in a time like right now, we shouldn't be starting all the time, but I do think he'll do well if Liverpool improve collectively too. And they're impressive numbers for someone who is just there to score goals. Another comparison that's being made is him and Gabriel Jesus. So Darwin Núñez now has more goals than Jesus, the guy who just a few games ago, including myself, people were saying like the most impactful signing of the season. Gabriel Jesus has 5 goals, Núñez has 6, and this goes to emphasise players are good at different things, and Núñez being an outlet is more than fine. Gabriel Jesus adding that creative element to Arsenal is more than fine, but now Gabriel Jesus is going to get the haters because he's not getting the goals and the numbers for Arsenal that they need, but he's improving the overall play. Arsenal just don't have an outlet, whereas Núñez is the outlet, so he's going to get the numbers. So 2 very different players. I still think Gabriel Jesus is definitely better, but that does not mean that Núñez can't go to go and prove himself to be a really important player, not only for Liverpool, but a very influential figure in the Premier League. I think a lot of people will respect Núñez soon because he will get those numbers. I don't think he'll ever be appreciated for his all-round game, his first touch, the odd little sitter that he misses, and I do think he could have done more at this point in his Liverpool career. I think 6 goals is actually quite an underperformance when you see some of the chances that he's being given. And that's the only thing that concerns me about Núñez, but he's always getting the chances, and that's what you need. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have I just been dead horrible to Darwin Núñez, or do you see where I've been coming from? And have I actually got it right about Darwin Núñez by saying he's not going to do anything more than score goals? And now he's doing that. So, and he's, bear in mind, when you compare it to the other players that I did before, Torres, Salah, Mane, they were starting the majority of those first 13 games. Darwin Núñez has been off the bench, he's been banned, he's been all these things. He's had that inconsistency, and he's came into the worst Liverpool team in the past 3 or 4 seasons, and he's still getting goals. So let me know what you think. Is Darwin Núñez going to be a success? Has he been a success so far? The team hasn't, but as an individual, setting yourself personal targets, has he done more than his job? Let me know in the comments down below, people. That has been today's Redmond Roundup. I used to do the old school one where I get a few topics into one and we have a belter. But that's now it for this one. Before I do leave, shout out to 888 Sport, 888 Sport. Their video is going to be in the link in the description. Here's a clip from it now.
Okay, Mohamed Salah is not having a good season, but he has been unplayable for 6, and therefore the credit is so in the bank. The quality will come back, I'm sure.
Is he? Will it though?
But there's 3.
What? Will it though?
I'd say that it's.
I'm asking a general question.
That's what. Do you know what I was about to say there, Flex? Right? I reckon that there's 3 players. You go Salah, Son, Sterling. The talent is there. Are we overestimating? Like, is Jack Grealish as good as we think he is? Is Jadon Sancho as good as we think he is?
No.
Is that the problem then? Or should they be on this list at all? Or are we expecting more?
The reason they're on their list is because one costs 75, one costs...
That's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
That's not their fault.
Unfortunately, it is.
No, they come.
You wouldn't put James Ward-Prowse on this list, would you? Because he's not good enough to
They
be
come. They come with. They come with. They come with prestige because they've shown. Like when Grealish was at Villa, you can see there's ability there. Don't get me wrong. He was the main man, and it is different. I had my reservations about him going to sit in the first place. Sancho, when he was at Dortmund, he was balling out, he's playing well, frightening Champions League games, doing it.
Goals as well.
You know what I mean? There's enough mileage in their tanks to look at them and say, them taking another step up, right, they've got to be in there.
Two of the biggest teams in world football.
Exactly. So I don't think, so to answer, I don't think it's unfair. Okay. What I do want to talk about is Mohamed Salah. If you look at players, right, if you look at players who have signed big contracts, will the willy, won't he kind of thing, Aubameyang, David De Gea, Mo Salah. You've seen it where players have signed and it just wasn't quite the same. I'm not saying he's done and dusted. I'm asking you, as a Liverpool fan, and you guys at home, have we seen the best of Mo Salah?
And yeah, guys, thank you for watching this. Go and check that video out now. Link in the description. And I will see you in a bizzle. Anthony, keep doing your skill moves, lad.